We got a deal. Let's go. Well, Dick, could you tell me what sort of instruments have you seen so far?
I've seen just about anything that's on the market. I've had 10, maybe 20 companies in here during the last 6 months or so. See, I can't remember all of them. Well, there goes another one.
Well, if you could, I'd just like you to put all those ideas out of your mind and just concentrate on 10 basic points I'm about to make to you.
Okay, let's start with the first one. It seems kind of basic, but remember, commandment number 1 is the foundation that the other 9 are built upon.
Tell me, Dick, why do you think all these people measure vibration?
That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Well then, look at this.
Okay, let's look at some parameters used for fault detection. Pressure as a machine condition indicator is excellent for showing developing faults such as those in damaged journal bearings. Flow is also a good indicator, and temperature and oil analysis show even more. But the reason for using vibration is because no single parameter can give so much information about such a wide range of faults. And that's interesting because we'll see later just how easy it can be to throw away that versatility through poor measurement and analysis technique.
And how do you think you measure the vibration?
Well, you use these accelerators and pickups and bender probes. But I still prefer this one.
Ah, always a good tool. But tell me something, do you know the exact difference between an accelerometer, a velocity pickup, and a displacement probe?
No, can't say I do.
Well, perhaps that's a very good place to start. If you just follow me here for a moment.
Velocity pickups and displacement transducers, or proximity probes as they're more often called, have traditionally been used for fault detection. However, accelerometers are becoming more popular because they're better. There's very little fault detection information available for the proximity probe that you can't get from an accelerometer, while the limited performance given by a velocity transducer eventually is going to make them obsolete.
Tell me, do you have any gear-driven machines with rolling element bearings?
Yes, I have.
Well, then you could be getting vibration frequencies anywhere between, well, 3 and 20 kilohertz. And do you have any machines with clutches, couplings? Do you have problems with unbalance? And which of these components are more important to your machines? Which are more likely to cause them to break down?
They could all cause a breakdown. I think they're equally important.
Well then, look at this.
You see, most machines contain parts which, if faulty, will produce vibrations over a wide range of frequencies, so to remain versatile and reliable, the transducer must be capable of detecting all the vibrations, whatever their frequency. In the gear-driven fan shown, you can get misalignment, unbalance, bent shaft, oil whirl and eccentricity at low frequencies, gearbox problems at medium frequencies, and rolling element bearing faults at high frequencies.
Now this is where we can really get them. Not only do we have the best accelerometers in the world, we know how to use them properly.
The proximity probe extends down to DC frequencies, which means its main use ought to be absolute motion monitoring of rotating parts, and that's its strength. Like the velocity transducer, it's limited in its high frequency response, which means they're both limited in how many types of fault they can detect. But why not use the accelerometer? It can detect all the faults the other two can, plus a few more. It gives you the whole picture and it won't be caught out.
And the frequency range of the transducer isn't the whole story. There's also a question of its dynamic range.
Obviously, you want to catch all those faults as early as possible. That means you want to detect vibrations which are very small at the same time as you track those which are very large. Just take a look at this. The accelerometer with its enormous dynamic range won't miss anything, whatever its size. It gives you the whole picture, which means it won't be caught out, and it gives you the earliest possible warning of trouble.
So you see, there's a question of both dynamic range and frequency range to consider when choosing transducers. Is this the ashtray?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I seem to have set fire to this ashtray.
It's okay. You just go on with it. seems to me like most of the guys that's been in here, they've been using accelerometers. So what's so very special about yours?
Well, the difference is in the way you use the accelerometer. First off, it's got to be mounted properly, and it's also got to have very good environmental specifications. Have you ever heard of the GIGO principle?
The GIGO principle? Can't say I have. What's that?
That's garbage in gives garbage out, and that's what you get if you don't use an accelerometer properly.
Well, I saw this great box the other day where you just press this accelerator, what's it called, against your machine for just a second or so, and you were in business. What's a good idea? Like that.
Yeah, well, that's a nice idea if it worked, but alas, it doesn't. Could you just take a look at this for a sec? We were in it was a paper mill in Norway, trying to find out just how important it is to mount an accelerometer properly.
Correct mounting of accelerometers is absolutely critical, and you've got to take the time and care to do it. I mean, just look at the muck on that bearing housing. There's paint, grease, oil and dirt. We couldn't even get the same spectrum twice in the same minute, so it's odds on you're going to get false alarms. Come on, let's get that surface cleaned up. That's better, it's more repeatable, but it's still not good enough. You just can't beat the old epoxy adhesive. Stick the mounting disc on there. It might be a nuisance now, but it's going to save you a lot of time and aggravation later on. Okay, let's try that repeatability test again. Yeah, that's the business. You won't get any false alarms now.
Now that should really rule out all those handheld probes that he's seen.